Everybody, welcome. The new daily drivers here, Lexus LX 470. The first thing I had to do, come down to Barrett Jackson, come to my favorite shop, 48 Detailing here in Phoenix, Arizona. My great friend, Zaya. One of the things that we're going to talk about today is tinting your car. Very misunderstood, a lot of questions around it and what exactly we would do on something like this. It's a 2003 Zaya, so it's not like, you know, doing a new Escalade that you have over here. And so we have a little bit more to battle with. So why don't we talk a little bit about what are some of the reasons you would get tint?
Yeah, of course, Nick. I appreciate you coming by, my man.
Yeah,
it's always nice seeing you.
Always.
So some of the reasons you want to get tint. The standard is looks, right? A lot of people talk about the looks of tint. Yep. People don't want to be driving a fishbowl like you are right now, Nick, of course.
Hey, biggest to hear.
Yeah.
Big fishbowl.
I know, big fishbowl driving through here. So, of course, looks is a big aspect of window tint installation. If you want that nice smoked out look or more of that factory look from the manufacturer for security in the back is awesome. But there's so many other reasons as well. Things like heat rejection as well when it comes to the ceramic line of tint. Also protecting your interior surface as well. A lot of people don't talk about that. Those are all just minor things that we can go over along with so much more that tint is very important to get on your car.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we talk about, look, you know, with hyperCLEAN and our experience detailing is we always talk about what products you use on the interior to provide protection, but one of the major reasons to get tint is interior protection. Protect your skin, protect your leather, protect your dash. We see a lot of cracked dashes here in the desert. You know, Vegas and Arizona, we get tons of them.
Yeah, for sure.
That's almost, I mean, you almost solve that whole entire issue with just good quality tint on your windshield.
Yeah, and I was giving you crap a couple minutes ago with your sandpaper that you call carpets in there.
Hey, we're going to get that right. Yeah. Look, the hyperCLEAN carpet system will get that right.
Yeah, but that's something you can prevent is the hardening of your fabrics and getting that sandpaper feel if you get that nice UV and heat rejection from window tint.
Yeah, and so if you guys follow this project, we're going to be doing a lot of things. The leather on this is going to have to be completely restored. And what do I mean by that? It's going to have to be rehydrated through very, very long, multi-day, multi-week processes, all avoidable. Right chemicals when you're cleaning it. As we can smell when we get in this car, very harsh chemicals were used to clean the car. But secondly, window tint. Yeah. I mean, it's just not something people talk about. And when we look at the window tint, it's always about the looks. You have an awesome Corvette, right? And you do all this stuff, all these great upgrades for the looks. The thing you don't talk about is where tint fits into that. Yeah. And one of the craziest things to me is when you drive a car with tint, basically I've had tint for 20, 30 years on cars. You look at this point in time, at my point, when you drive one without tint, you notice the heat, you notice that everybody can see you, you notice the no privacy, but you also feel that there's no protection when you've had it on your cars before.
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing worse in Vegas or Arizona getting into your car when it's 100+ degrees outside and literally smoking your ass off inside, man.
100%.
It's bad. You're like a cooked chicken in there.
So here's the crazy thing. Well, we'll bring you in today on a couple things. We'll bring you in on the process. We'll bring you in on selecting the films, all that kind of stuff. Then we're going to show the process of your great team installing the film from windshield all the way to the back glass. And so we're going to bring you along, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. All right, Zaya. So we have two films here. Hopefully you guys can see on camera. We'll also bring you in a little bit closer as well. Tell us the difference. Somebody sees this darker film, they automatically believe more heat rejection, you know, everything's better because this is darker. But walk people through these two films.
Yeah, of course, Nick. So right over here we have our 70%, and then over here we have a darker 15% that you would find on darker colored tints, right? Now, just like you said, this is going to be our ceramic tint, and over here we just see your traditional dye tint that's been on the market for a very, very long time. Like Nick said, you would think this is going to give you more heat protection, more UV resistance, but it's actually the other way around. Because ceramic tint and the technology and the ceramic matrix inside the layer of tint, it actually absorbs and reflects that heat much better than even your darker dyed or carbon tint. So this to give you an example, this film right over here has over 90% of heat rejection, while this film over here is barely at 40%. So just goes to show that the darkness is not going to dictate how good your film will perform, especially in extreme weathers and climates.
Yeah, so for us, we have basically, you're in the same boat. These are basically obsolete now.
Yeah.
So if you walk in, you want to have your Lexus LX 470 tinted, it doesn't matter. Whatever car you're driving, I would say almost 100% of people, we would say, go ahead and splurge and get the ceramic tint. Again, prices are coming down, meaning these are more affordable than they used to be. These were very, very high cost. These just don't provide a lot. Also, they don't last as long.
No,
You'll start to see color distortion.
Exactly.
You know, if anybody remembers or see it in your car currently, that purple look that you can get from window tint, you shouldn't have any of that. I would tell most people you should be sticking with a ceramic tint. And there's a lot of shops like this, my shop, basically your shop. I mean, you're hardly ever installing a dyed film anymore.
Yeah, there's so many disadvantages with dyed tint. Now, we don't have just dyed. It is a dyed carbon tint, so you do have a little bit of protection. We usually see people going for that tint on cars that aren't being driven that often, like a show car. They're just trying to save a little bit of money. They're just really caring for the aesthetics. Yeah. But what happens, like you mentioned, to dyed tints over a period of time, I have an example in the lobby. I'll throw in a clip of that example for you guys. It lightens up and distorts like crazy just after a few years. We start seeing dyed tint going from like a 5% like this to a 35 or a 50% shade in the matter of a few years in the climate that we're in right now. And it just looks horrible. It's horrible to take off after a few years. And like Nick said, you're just not getting that much benefit besides just aesthetics for the initial period of the installation.
Yeah, and like we said in the open of this, the most important thing about tint is to think about things other than looks. Because both of these can give you a look. Yeah. Right? We're obviously showing you our lighter shade. This is, ceramic tint's available in all shades, excuse me. But you got to remember something. If you get tint for all of the reasons, this doesn't have all of the reasons. This ceramic tint has all of the reasons. Amazing heat rejection, not going to distort. I mean, literally, I've watched cars now over a decade where the tint looks fantastic with ceramic tint, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, the longevity, and again, I know most of us don't keep our cars that long, but the reality is if you keep your car 3 or 4 years, this can start to look pretty bad if it's driven every day.
Exactly, Nick. So all tints, all ceramic tints, I should say, do come with a lifetime warranty. Now, whether that's a Chihuahua's lifetime or a human lifetime, we don't know, but they're all warranted for a lifetime. While your dyed tint, you don't get that type of warranty because of the distortion that you get in the future. So.
So guys, I think this is important. I would tell you this, I'm 100% ceramic tint. You're 100% ceramic tint. We just wanted to show the differences, and also darkness doesn't necessarily equal protection. You can have a completely clear film with 90+% heat rejection, UV protection, that kind of thing.
Exactly, and you might think this is common sense for a lot of people, but I can't tell you how many times I get customers step into a shop and I show them a 70% tint and tell them it's got the same heat rejection and UV protection as a 5% tint on the ceramic lineup, and they just sit back amazed about that fact.
Well, let's share one thing. So a lot of you are living in places where tint laws are very strict. I mean, some people, you can't have any type of color on the front windows. You can't have it. Guys, you can get a completely clear ceramic film, and we know dealerships and large shops that are doing this in places in the Midwest and the East Coast where tint laws are very strict. You can have completely no blackout of your windows, no tint at all, no shade to any of it, and you can have almost 100% heat rejection with these clear films now. So if you're somebody that goes, well, my tint laws are ... strict, the facts are what the facts are. They now have the technology where there's still a ton of value in getting your windshield and getting all of your windows, even if it's a clear film. You got all kinds of benefit, UV protection, heat rejection, and everything.
Back in the day when ceramic tint wasn't available or wasn't to the point it is right now, we're 35% legal limit on front glasses here in Arizona. That's where most of the heat comes in and where you're sitting all the time. So it kind of sucked just to get a lighter shade of dyed tint because it's not going to offer you the same protection as a darker shade. Just like Nick said, now it doesn't matter. You can put a 35% and it's going to offer you the same heat rejection all the way through as even a darker ceramic tint as well.
Awesome. So we hope that helps you guys. Let's jump into the install.
Sounds good.